A new hockey season is finally here, and Connor McDavid decided to make it all about himself. So let's talk about that new episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Locked On Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Zach Pearson. Thank you for tuning in, making this your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. If you want to get in on the conversation and join our subtext, link is in the show notes below. You chat with Zach and I one-on-one, get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, and share it on this very podcast. Yeah, now is the time to sign up for that with a brand new season here. We are going to get to the Kings and Avs game opening night. We'll talk about that, get some predictions, and those new helmets. The image came out online of some new buckets for the Avs. Are they just new helmets for the current uniform, or are they new helmets for those thirds that we still do not have and are still? Should we stop holding out? Like, the season's here and we haven't gotten the thirds. Should we stop, or should we just keep going with this until it happens?
I don't know. I want to keep going because I want to just will them into existence.
Exactly. So we'll get to that. We'll show you the images and kind of talk about that in a little bit. And we normally would have started with the opening night game. They get pushed down a little bit because it's a pretty big deal, the extension that Connor McDavid signed with the Edmonton Oilers. And you were hearing all sorts of things of what this could be. It could be a max deal. He could go for less years, but high dollar numbers. He could go for less years, but really low number. We finally got our answer. And we talked about on our Kaprizov episode, we kind of talked about where it could go with McDavid. And if he took less, what that would mean specifically for the Avalanche and their free agents, pending free agents. We were throwing around numbers like 14, 15 million per year. And he basically just, we use the term extension. That's literally what he did with his current contract, because he's not increasing his salary a cent. He is staying at 12.5 for another 2 seasons. So they get 3 more years for Connor McDavid at that number. I want to start there, and then we'll bring into the Avalanche fold what this means, because every time you get a deal like this, same thing with the Kaprizov one, like, okay, what's that mean for the market? But talk to me about how you feel like this. It's 2 years, but huge.
This is a team-friendly deal that I don't think the team negotiated. I think Connor McDavid was completely in charge of this contract and basically said, look, I'm giving you guys a short amount of time. You get 3 total more seasons of me now at 12.5. Build a team. We're going to win the cup. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Make it happen. Like, make sure that everybody around me, you have the extra money now. Make it happen.
Can't use me as the excuse for having too much of the cap. Right.
If it doesn't happen in the next 3 years, there's no way he's in Edmonton. So, I mean, this is literally, to me, a 3-year clock on whether Connor McDavid can be retained in Edmonton any further. I love what he's doing, though. Like, it almost sounds like, oh, you're holding them holding their feet to the fire. But I think in reality, what he's doing is saying, we've had all this time. We've tried to build this. We're not getting anywhere with it. Here's the opportunity now. I want to win a cup for you guys in Edmonton right now. Let's do it. And to take that kind of discount, that they should be able to put something together around him. Edmonton should be a pretty strong force for at least 3 more years now.
Yeah. I don't know who it was. I can't remember who it was. It was either the GM or the president or the owner, maybe. I don't remember who it was, but said exactly what you said in the beginning of your statement was this was all him. Like, he came to us with this number. Like, I think whoever it was said that, like, that was not the number that we were thinking we were going to put forward.
Okay.
So
I hadn't
literally
heard that was just the impression I got from the deal. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm loving like the discussion on this, and you kind of alluded to it too. Of after 3 years, if they haven't done it, he's gone. I don't necessarily buy that, Zach. I really
I
don't.
think so.
I'm not saying it couldn't have. Sure, I think the next 3 years will determine. Now I will really decide if I'm going somewhere or not.
Yeah.
Because if he's happy with how that, like, he wants to win there. Clearly, he wants to win there.
Mhm.
And if they're, he's giving them just a golden ticket to put the best possible team around him to go do that for the next 3 years. But I can't sit here and just say like, oh, if it doesn't happen in 3 years, he's hightailing it out of there. Is it a possibility? 100%, it would be a possibility if they don't win it. But what if they do win it? Then it's mission accomplished there. And does he still move on from that anyway? Or does he stay and try to win more?
I think he stays there, but takes more dollars.
But he could, right? He maybe that's a good point. Like, there's so many options on the table here for if they do or if they don't win it.
Yep.
And I think if they don't, let's just go down the road of if they don't. But he's happy with how like they're operating, and he's happy with the talent they're bringing in. I don't think he just says, I'm out of here. What he can do is in another 3 years is do this again. Now you owe me more money. I'm not going to stay for 12.5 because the cap continues to go up, but I like it here. I've spent my entire career here. You're bringing in the talent. We're just not getting over that hump. But I want an increase. I'm not going to stay at 12.5 as the cap has continued to go up. But maybe he does that for the rest of his career, just takes these 2 or 3 years deals, and then he's always going to get money. And I say max money, he could always get that. So I kind of feel like the money part's not that important for him, but in 3 years, he could negotiate to stay there for another 3 years and bump me up a little bit more. I'm not going to stay at 12.5, but bump me up a little bit more. That's if he's happy with how the operation is going. And I think it's a really good kind of thing for him to do for, give it 3 more years, and I can assess on if I'm happy with how this whole operation is going. If I'm not, I'm gone. If I am happy with it, let's do this again. Just increase me a little bit more. I don't think it's important for him to be the highest paid player in the league. I don't think it's that important for him. He makes more than his salary in endorsements. Probably, what he makes in his salary is not that important not that important. It's important, but it's not that important. So I'm not on the board of like he's gone after 3 years if they don't win it 100%. Possibility, yes, I will grant you that, definitely.
I think it's a strong possibility, and I agree that I don't think it's because of the money. I feel like Connor McDavid has taken the Sidney Crosby route and it's not a money first, it's I want to win. He's a competitor through and through. I think in 3 years, if they haven't figured it out, if there's not like some kind of massive something changed, or like you somehow built up a pipeline with, late draft picks all the time, because in theory they should still be deep playoff team every year, even if they don't win it. I just think at that point I don't know that this organization knows how to win. I need to go somewhere that can.
That's a good point.
And it's not going to be I'm leaving for the dollars. It's I'm chasing that Stanley Cup, and this is what's going to happen. And I think the loyalty to a team, as we've talked about before with the Sidney Crosby potential trade, is not necessarily a thing anymore. Sid might actually end up being the last one who is loyal to a team, like to that, not to a fault, but basically like that would be the expression, right? I think Connor, he doesn't have a cup there, so there's not something that holds him strictly to that. And I think if there's a solid possibility of someone like Sid potentially leaving, as you keep hearing rumblings about, I don't think without a victory, I see Connor McDavid staying. And again, there's no part of me that thinks it's for the money. I think he goes chasing that Stanley Cup.
Yep. Kyle over on Subtext, we had a good conversation. And he brought up a really good comment. He's like, essentially, you always hear like of these like prove it deals. Jonathan Drouin had like a prove it deal in Colorado, and you hear them all the time. This is almost like a prove it deal for the franchise.
Yeah,
and that's what he's doing. He's basically saying like, you prove it to me that you guys can put a team around me where I'm giving you excess money to go do that. Let's see what you do with it. So it's a good point. It's a good point. But I
know reverse card.
Yeah.
prove it deal. Yeah.
I love this though, man. I love when
I do too.
players do this, and this whole setting the market thing. Like, is that overblown? Not entirely, but maybe sometimes like people hold on to that a little bit too much in terms of what a player signs for and what it means for another guy that's not on that team and just free agents around the league. And sure, that plays a role, but this here, like what Kaprizov signed for, what McDavid signed for, I think just washes everything away, and it's like doesn't matter anymore.
Nope.
Who can, like we're just gonna now teams can go and negotiate and just not have that Kaprizov number hanging over their head, and just say like, no, we're going to negotiate on the merits and not what other guys signed for now because of this contract right here.
Every non-Connor McDavid agent just lost their minds with the signing of this deal because they watched dollars just fizzle out of what they could make. And it is going to cost some players, I think, some dollars that they probably would have earned had they extended prior to Connor McDavid signing this. I don't think it's going to be that drastic. I do think it does help the Avs in negotiations with Marty Necas. I really do. Not a ton, but I think it helps keep him in that 10 to 10.5 range instead of pushing him up into that 11 to 11.5 range. And even if it's $1 million savings, that might be all it is.
Well, let's get our first break in, and we come back. We'll talk about that and obviously opening night with the Avalanche. So, but with the implications of what this has on Marty Necas and maybe even Cale Makar. So let's get our first break, and we'll do that next. Let's hear from Indeed. You just realized that your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed, because when it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. And now you can speed up the hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast. Terms and conditions apply. And if you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. All right, so let's discuss this McDavid deal. And first of all, does it change your mindset of him at all? Because I'm not a McDavid hater, but when guys do this and kind of like put their money where their mouth is and say, hey, like, I want to win, and he is saying that, does it change your attitude on how he perceives the game and how he wants to win?
No, not on him as a player and not how he plays the game. The biggest issue I have with Connor McDavid is the constant media attention focused solely on him. It feels like a lot of times, like it was with Sidney Crosby for a long time. No, it's really not. And like I said, so I don't think this totally changes it, because he's kind of given me that I want to win impression all the time. Even when he took the 12.5 for his last contract, and that was a high number, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, an absolutely crazy absurd number. It was high, but it wasn't. People weren't freaking out about it like they did with the Kirill Kaprizov move. Like they felt like he got paid a little bit above what the last highest contract was, just like he should have been. And then Nathan MacKinnon came in and did the same thing, just like he should have been. And then since then, it's, with the salary cap going up. But no, I still think I think about the same of him. He is a put his money where his mouth is. He wants to go win, and I love that.
So what does this mean for the pending contract extensions and free agents and all that when it comes to the Colorado Avalanche? Like the Kaprizov one, you go right to Marty Necas, and all right, what does that mean for him? We'll talk about Makar in a minute, but I think I said it in that episode, Zach, when we were talking about Kaprizov, like, hey, if McDavid signs for 14, that gives the Avalanche I don't want to say the advantage, but it's like, okay, now we can get back to that original number. Well, the original number that I have in my head, which is, the 10 to 10.5. I feel like this, if you're going to do that, if you're going to say like, hey, we're going to use other players' contracts in our negotiation tactics, and you want to do that, okay, well then here's the best player in the sport again, asterisk. And he didn't raise a cent. Yeah. So I think this helps the Avalanche with the contract negotiation for Necas.
I also hope that this just sort of permeates into some other players as well, like Necas, on an idea of if you want to be competitive, sometimes you can't just chase the absolute highest dollar number.
Mhm.
And some players can do that and they can go bounce between teams going after the highest dollar that they can possibly get. Doesn't always put you on the most competitive team, but you are going to make the most money.
Right.
And I'm not going to fault a guy for chasing money. I never want to come across as that way because you get Eric Johnson said it today on the afternoon show with the radio. You blink and your career's over.
Hmm.
And it's like you don't even realize how quickly. And that dude played 13 seasons. Like that's a pretty long career.
EJ?
14 seasons, yeah,
He played like 17 seasons. I think it was
or
7,
17.
7 or 18.
Okay,
Yeah, 8, yeah.
or
And
was
he
I
had a
thinking
year where he
13 or
missed,
14?
but
Yep.
no, yeah, he was.
But either way,
17, 18.
17 seasons, and he's even saying you blink and it's over. So I'm
Mhm.
never going to fault a guy for wanting to chase money. But also, like, if you want to be that hyper competitive level, sometimes you have to be able to look at something and say, this is where it needs to be afforded. And I think this just puts some pressure on the Avs to get this extension done within the first month. Like I've said that they will get done anyway. That's still my feeling with no evidence whatsoever. But I think it puts a little more pressure on them to do it because Necas could very easily go out there though and be like, nope, bet on myself through the whole season.
Could.
We're gonna wait, and if I perform like a guy in a career in a contract year does, oof, then that could be
Yeah,
a huge like payday for him, detrimental
absolutely.
to the Avs. So I think this just puts the pressure on Chris McFarland to get this extension signed in like a month.
Yeah, and he was asked about it at the press conference and said that they are talking. He really didn't give you a lot of meat on the bone for it, but he kind of just said the bare minimum that will satisfy the fan base, and that at least they're talking. You know, if it was
Yep.
like if it was one of those things where haven't had communication with them in 2 months,
Yep.
there'd be alarm bells going off all over the place. But the fact they said like they're talking, okay, well at least that's we got that out of them.
Yeah.
Where those conversations are going, we don't know, but I agree with you. The earlier the better for the Avs because I just feel like, you know, we've talked about it before. Like I just feel like he's a good fit with this team and a full year with them. I just think his numbers are just going to pop off and the Avs are going to have to pay if he does indeed say, I'm going to bet on myself.
Yep.
So we'll see where that goes. The one quickly, you know, a lot of people are also throwing out Cale Makar here. I don't feel Cale Makar is a different animal, right? Like even the contract he's on now, he could have signed for more money.
Yeah.
And he went for a very nice, cool $9 million per year. And I've always said it, like, I don't feel like Cale Makar is this greedy, grubby guy. Like, I just feel like he is a humble dude. And that's not to say he won't want to get paid, but is he gonna demand like to be the highest paid player in the league and demand to be paid more than Kaprizov? He's not going to. The Avalanche
No, I
might
don't
make
think
him.
so.
The Avalanche might say, "Hey, here's a blank check."
Yeah.
But I think that'll come from the Avalanche side. I don't think it'll really come from the Makar side. I still think he's going to be in that 14 to 16 range.
That's
But
what I
I
was
don't
just
feel like it's imperative for him to pass Kaprizov and be the highest paid player. I don't think it's
think
that important.
15 to 17 is kind of what I expect to see there.
Sure.
You're going to put him up in that tip top tier, but I agree. I think the Avs will go to him and probably be like, "Look, we really like if you want to be the number one paid player, we'll make it happen.
Right.
However, let's keep building the team around you. The cap's going up, so let's put you in this, let's say 15 and a half, 16 million. Save
Yeah.
us a little bit of space." And I think Cale's good with that because he's still going to be one of the highest paid players in the entire league.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's going to make his money. He's still going to be on a competitive team. And even if Cale did just say, nope, I want all the money in the world, throw it at him because that guy is worth it.
And if you get, you know, McDavid wins a cup this year, it's kind of like proof of concept. Even though, you know, this they've already had this team under contract for, you know, a few weeks now. So, but I'm just saying, like, they can go to him and be like, look, like, we can go the Kaprizov route and say the Wild missed the playoffs. And again, I know Kaprizov his number doesn't kick in until next year. I'm just saying here, like,
It's gonna
watch
look
those
bad.
two teams this year.
Yep.
If the Wild miss the playoffs and the Oilers win the Stanley Cup, the Avs could just go to Makar and be like, hey, if we get you for less, we can do what the Oilers are doing now and going to do into next season where they have more money. And Makar knows that. It's not like, rocket science.
Right.
But it would be interesting. It would be interesting. And I think Makar's the type of guy to be like, sure, that's fine.
Agreed.
Give me 12.5. I'll be fine with, but I think he'll get more than that because I think the Avalanche understand his importance and want to show him the value of what he brings to the team in a ridiculous number. So 100%. I still think it's going to be up there. I still think it's going to be up there. We'll see where
I do too. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into game time. A new season is finally here, Mr. Pearson. So the Avalanche are going to puck drop with the LA Kings. Let's talk about that. Predictions from the Subtext crew and the new helmet images. What is that? Just for the new uniforms or something? Or I shouldn't say new uniforms. Is that for the current uniforms or is it for something else in new uniforms? So let's talk about that after this. We got FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss. Because right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. What is the spread right now for this game with the Avalanche and the Kings?
It is a 1.5 point spread, and the Kings are favored to win this game tomorrow or tonight, if you're listening to this on Tuesday. So, I feel like I'd go Avs. I'm not sure why the Kings are necessarily favored, but
stay tuned for our predictions. And if you agree with us, put $5 down on the Avs and get that $300 coming your way. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started with that $5 bet to potentially get $300 in bonus bets. All right, sir. We've made it through the heat of summer and all the signings around the league and everything going on and training camp and rookie camp and preseason. Again, went on for too long for the last time, hopefully ever. Did you know there was preseason that used to be 12 games?
Yeah. Oh no, I know.
That was crazy. Like that's unheard of anymore. But anyway, we're going down to 4 next year, which is very nice. So got through all that stuff. Opening night in LA versus the Kings. If you listen to yesterday's episode, this is my Western Conference final. Avalanche and Kings. So they start the year together. Maybe one of these teams ends the year against one another. But what are you thinking? I think this game's going to go. Is obviously a lot of emotion in game number 1. I find it funny. I think a lot of people, like we just talked about FanDuel, and they're the favorite. I think you get that a lot in opening games. The home team seems to have the upper hand in home games just because it's game number 1. But do you think that matters in the long run? Go ahead.
I don't think it's going to matter for tomorrow. I think the Avs are going to come out so pumped and hungry. Like the crowd noise is going to be a factor because it always is. LA actually is a really loud stadium. Like big credit to LA Kings fans because I feel like on the broadcast that's always full. That's always loud. It always seems like they're a good crowd to play in front of. I don't think that matters as the Avs are going to win 4-2. That's my prediction for the score. I think they're going to, I think it'll be closer than a 4-2 kind of shows. But then with a pulled goaltender, empty netter kind of towards the end or something like that to make it a 2-goal game. But yeah, I really do think the Avs come out and just show exactly why they are so highly favored by outlets like The Athletic and other places like that.
Yeah.
I think they're going to hit the ground full speed and it's going to be a good season.
Yeah. I think they want to do the total opposite of how they started last year with those just first 4 games that were just total duds and all the goalie issues and everything. And you take away the start of the season for the Avs really for the first month and a half. And if you kind of just turn that around into just a normal, even a 500 for October, and you're not constantly building up in the beginning of the season to appease those losses that you had very early in the season. Avs are right up there with the division winners, but that's the importance of a start. Look at the Winnipeg start, and they never relinquished that. So I think the Avs learned from last year the value of having a hot start, and they don't want to be that team that, and they have been the team that kind of starts slow. But I think they got to get going early on. Stinks that it's not in ball, but hey, this is a good test. Game number 1, it's a good test because I think the Kings, obviously I picked them to go to the Western Conference Final. The Kings are a good team and a very like well-rounded team, but they're very like level across the board. They do a lot of things very well. Not a lot of things excellent, right? Like they do a lot. So they're just like a sound team in all 3 phases. And like they have some really good players. I'm really curious to see the year that Quentin Byfield has this year.
Yeah.
Because you're having guys that are kind of like on their way out in LA and him knowing that maybe he takes another like step forward to be like, hey, I know kind of like as much as stars as we can have in LA are on their way out. Now is my time to stake my claim as the one who's going to replace them.
Yep.
So I think he's due for a really good year in Quentin Byfield.
I absolutely agree. I think because what you've got, their whole top line is on their last year of the contract. So,
then last year, all of them.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Kuzmenko, Kopitar, Kempe, all 3 are on the very last year of their contract. So that's this is the opportunity right here, like you said, for Byfield to really shine and show. Essentially, it's his team moving forward, right?
Could be.
And you'll have another year out of like, And so I agree. I think they're going to be really good. I don't think they're going to be quite as hot as a couple of other teams in the Western Conference come into the season. Like I said, I didn't have them in the Western Conference Final like you did. But I can absolutely be argued into them being a really good team because, again, they typically are. The goaltending, I think, is one thing that you can exploit against the Kings, and I like Darcy Kemper. Obviously, he helped bring the cup back to Colorado. But I think that's an opportunity that the Avs can, with just the firepower that they have, can do really well. Avs are also really, really fast, and I think that's going to benefit them a lot in this game and a lot of games throughout the season.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Kemper had a great year last year.
Yeah,
so can he duplicate that? He kind of played above his means last year. We'll see if he can duplicate that. But I like this Kings team. Like they have a lot of familiar names, but none, like they don't have like superstar power or anything like that. Which is not the worst thing in the world, but it'd be nice to have. They would kill for Nathan McKinnon, that guy that can just absolutely take over a game when they need to. They rely on. Well, all teams rely on system, but they rely on it to win them all their games because they don't have that guy that can just take over. Could it be Byfield? We'll see this year. But they have really good players. They have solid players up and down the lineup. And while they're not going to be like the best team in the league, they're going to be a difficult team to play against night in and night out. And that's really all they can ask for right now. And they'll win games and they should make the playoffs. But we'll see. They have potential guys that could break out this year. And I think all eyes are on Byfield to see if he takes another step forward. So that's where we're at.
We'll see.
I think it will be a 5-2 Avalanche win. I think that it's 4-2. That extra goal will be an empty netter, and that makes it 5-2. Over on subtext, we got a lot of people chiming in here. Mark says 3-2. Here we go. We're already starting 3-2 Avs in overtime. Valenchushkin with the overtime winner. So like that is the popular pick all throughout the year. I have a feeling, I don't know if Mark's going to do that all year long, but he will do it a ton. Adam predicting 5-3, 2 points from McKinnon and Landeskog. That's the other thing.
I like
Gabe
that.
Landeskog, first regular season game in 27 years. It's going to be fun to see that. Lisa says Avs ruin the Kings home opener, win 3-2. Hoffacorn
Makar.
3-1 Avs. Lecky with the game winner. Landy with an empty netter. Kay says Kings are a good team, but the Avs are a cut above. Avs win 4-2. Empty netter and 1 power play goal.
Ooh.
But how many power plays total? Is it 1 for 1? Because that's what I want to start 100%. We have Madam Battleaxe here, says 3-1 Avs, and she predicts Bednar will wear a burgundy suit.
Ooh, okay.
So
I like this idea. Let's
yeah.
predict the coach's suit. I like this. Yep.
Okay. I'm quite all right with that. Let's see. We have a couple more here. Aunt Kitty says Avs 3-1, and Shorzy says Avs win 3-2. They'd probably be more inclined for a higher score. He's talking about preseason games here. Hang on one second. It's got to load this. It's taking forever to load today. Avs win 3-2. I know it's preseason versus regular season, but those last 2 games left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Don't do that, Shorzy.
No, don't do that.
Especially the second to last games, that was basically all AHL guys.
Yeah.
Probably more inclined for a higher score win if it weren't for those 2 games. So
yeah,
don't
letting
let
the Eagles cloud your judgment when they played mostly starter Vegas.
Yep.
I think you're
exactly. And then finally, Vargar says typical hockey score 4-2 Avs. He's got Landy, Makar, Lehkonen, and Gavin Brindley with a goal.
Ooh, okay, love it.
And 2 assists for McKinnon, and he also says Clark and Byfield score for LA. So Avs across the board. And I will say, subtext is usually fair. If they don't always just go pick the Avs just because that's who we support. They will throw out if they think they're going to lose. But I think they're all on board for game 1. You got to start on the right side.
I think
start
so.
on the good side, and they all win it. Could they be wearing these new helmets? We'll finish up with this one, and Avsman over on X. Well, actually on all the socials, posted these images of these new buckets. Really, just the back side of it with the number. Here, I'll throw them up on if you're watching on YouTube. So you got the number. Seems like a little bit bigger number, but you have the 30th anniversary logo on the left of the number, and on the right of the number is the orange NHL logo, which was on the other helmets. Just it was a little bit transparent. You couldn't really see it all that well. This one is a little bit more. Yeah, right.
It pops now. Yep.
Exactly. Where everybody's going with this is, myself included, is this the helmets for these, the current uniforms, or does that shade look different? Does that look a little bit different shade? And is that for the Nordiques uniforms, which they have not announced yet? I think as this has worn off, I think these are just the helmets for their everyday.
I don't want to give up hope because, like I said at the top of the episode, I want to will these into existence. But yeah, they are wearing down my ability to hold on to hope. I do think this might just be the color. And honestly, they could just go with this for the color to then still use that uniform later in the year with the same helmet. Could totally work. Like I could see that happening as well. These look pretty sharp. I like them. Yeah. It's a little interesting that Logan O'Connor's number is the only one in this image on YouTube right now up off of the bottom where everybody else's is.
Some guys wear those helmets
on the bottom. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's funny that his is the only one popped up. No, I think the color looks sharp. I think the popped NHL logo. I really am a fan of this 30th anniversary logo that they've put together now. I was like, yeah, it's not bad. It's pretty cool. And then I saw it on the ice for the preseason games and sold. I think it looks great. I think it looks sharp on the helmet here. So I think this is the regular helmet. Maybe it still means the jersey's coming.
After anything they post, anything jersey or uniform related, I'm immediately going to what does this mean for the potential third jersey. And as time has gone on, I kind of have let go of that and just like, no, I just feel like this is they're going to be there every day. At least for the dark uniforms. And the reason I feel that way is 2 reasons. One, if they do come out with the Nordiques third, I don't think you're getting that 30th logo on there. I just feel like you're not going to have that because that's got the Avs logo on there.
Yeah,
I feel
maybe.
like those will be maybe. I don't know for sure. And secondly, you see in this image here, you can see the person who is taking the photo and the reflection in the helmet.
Yep.
When I saw that, and I think you can even see it on the Van the Chuskin helmet there. When I saw that, did I zoom in on every possible angle as far as possible on all of these helmets and get any reflection whatsoever of a Nordiques logo somewhere? Yes, I did.
CSI enhance.
Enhance. Enhance. And did I find anything? No, I did not. So for those two reasons, like they say in Shark Tank, I'm out. So I wish it was, but I think this is just your regular helmet. So
here's two. Like, I really hope that Jared Bednar with his suit gets a little fleur-de-lis lapel pin.
Ooh.
And just a troll.
Yeah.
Not even like whether they do it or not. He just pops
so you're saying
on.
Like
he just
game
does it
number
for
one.
fun. Or any game coming up. Just maybe the first home game. He's just got a little fleur-de-lis lapel pin.
That would be the massive troll. The Bednar troll.
It would be great.
Man. I don't know. Maybe they will. I mean, you do get jersey announcements in during the course of the season.
For sure.
They're usually for the outdoor games.
Yep.
But it happens. So maybe that's what we'll get for this year.
Surprise outdoor game.
I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think they do that. I think we know who the outdoor games are. But so you're saying this would be a
outdoor game against Pittsburgh right after they trade for Sidney Crosby, and they still get to announce it in the Nordiques jersey. There we go.
Bring it home. Love it. It's happening. Mark it down. Mark your calendars. All right. Now this is a thing. If they don't have, come on, we're bringing it back. All right. That is going to wrap it up on that with Zach's amazing scheduling of an outdoor game.
Just
with a trade mixed in. Beautiful. How can you ever top that? Maybe an Avalanche win really is the only way that you can top that. But we will be back tomorrow to talk about opening night in LA. So be sure to tune in to that one tomorrow. But for this one, thank you for tuning in and making it your first listen of the day. It is always appreciated. He is Mr. Zach Pearson. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow after the game. And you've made it through another 24 hours where Sidney Crosby's that much closer to being a part of the Colorado Avalanche.